Don't take an antidote. That's not what I'm saying. Well, hey there. Welcome back. To those who celebrate, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. If you're playing along at home, and you should, you know that we are about halfway through the 13-part Psych Charms episodes. You probably should have gotten at least one of those for someone you're buying presents for, because it really is a unique gift. It's very personal and it's really cool. You should have gotten at least one for yourself because it's a unique gift, it's very personal, you deserve it, and it's pretty inexpensive. You can still do that, you know. Since it's the end of the year, there's something really, really important coming, and that is New Year's. And it's not just that it's a new year, but people really like to have levels. Like to have markers, and as I talked about in the label episode, labels make you dumber and smarter at the same time. Our brains want to label something, and if you can say, okay, I have these, tens and tens and tens of years in my life, I have all this time to make changes and so forth, but hey, wait a second, it's the beginning of the year. It's a new marker, it's a new starting line. If we can tell ourselves that, well then we'll say, well, now it's going to be different. Right? This time, insert year, and in this case, 2025, right? 2025 is going to be different. It's an odd year, 2025. What a cool rounded sound it has to it, right? 2025. That's the year I did insert that thing you've been trying to do. And you know I'm right. And you know every year you do this. And every 6 months or every week or whatever, everybody has something they want to do. And 99.9% of the people who want to do this are people listening right now. People don't listen to podcasts like this because they just like them in the soft, silky voice. Hi there, I'm Mark Bradford. They're interested in options for change. And one of the things this show's cool about is that it gives you a tangible thing to do to have change and to make a difference and to understand your psychology and the way the world works and things like that. You're listening for that thing, for that one thing that I say that you're like, well, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. And hopefully by now I've literally given you hundreds of those one things, which is a terrible sentence, but you know what I mean. So because we are making 2025, because it's the end of the year and the beginning of the year again, we're making it something that is a marker. Let's do it, right? I've done no less than 4 episodes on New Year's resolutions and the kind of psyche we have at this time of year. I've made posts and written articles about why you shouldn't make New Year's resolutions. I've gotten flack and feedback about that. People treat it as if they have some sort of illness and they have an antidote. And I say, don't take an antidote. That's not what I'm saying. If you're brand new here, let me spell it out for you. And those who are not new here still would probably appreciate this. If you're wanting to make a change in yourself, a long-term change, then a resolution isn't the way to do it. But Mark, where do I start? I have to start somewhere. I'm not talking about a resolution as in 2025, I'm going to be that healthy person I want to do. That's great. It's not necessarily a resolution. It's more of a statement of something that's going to happen. That's the problem with a lot of resolutions. And I've joked that a resolution is something you make out loud in front of your friends while you're drinking so that you feel better. And then you kind of forget about it, right? Because it's a lot easier to eat that second piece of pie when you're like, yes, but in 2025, I'm going to start. My diet starts on Thursday, right? Or this doesn't apply. I know that thing I said I was going to say with when I'm talking to strangers. This isn't one of those things exactly, right? Anyway, what's for dinner? If you have a bad binary habit, a simple thing that you do, you can make a resolution that says, I'm not doing that. I got to stop doing that, right? But as we know with everything has a cause. Everything is connected to something else. Everything is kind of indicative of your personality, which I respect and realize you have your personality because of what you've gone through in your life. There's good and bad in there. There's adaptations, there's coping mechanisms and all that stuff. And you can't just say, oh, you shouldn't do this anymore. Oh, okay, well, that's not going to throw up a ton of defense mechanisms, right? But if you have a simple action, like you say, I have this weird hang up where I don't leave a plate that has food on it. Or I always have to eat the last bite. Sure. Or you could have a resolution that says I'm not going to eat the last bite anymore, period, right? But I'll kind of bet you that you will then find a way around that. You'll put more on your plate so that the amount that you leave is easily made up for by the extra food that you put on there. Because the whole point of leaving something on your plate is to eat less. Well, if that's what you're trying to do, why not focus on the behavior of eating less? And you're going to say, but Mark, I don't want to go through some big long system. I just don't want to eat the last piece of freaking food on my plate. Fine, you have to start somewhere. But again, resolutions don't really work because of what they're made of, which is a single binary action. Let me beat this dead horse one last time. It is useful for you to either give up or start a simple habit of something. I'm not going to let my spouse be the only person who empties the dishwasher. Something simple like that, right? That's great. I'm going to get up when my alarm goes off, stuff like that. I could go on and on with little things, and of course I could then make that same statement about, well, it's all related to a system. So fine, make those resolutions if you want. But if you want a change that you understand, which not a lot of people talk about, but you should understand where the change is coming from and what got you there in the first place, then look at it as a system. And it's the reason I created the coaching as a system, so we can take a step back. It's kind of like saying, I know that there's some treasure buried here. I think I'm going to walk in a little bit and start digging. And then I say, sir, you do know this is a cemetery. You need to take a step back and look at the whole map and go, oh, that's how I got here. Oh, no wonder I don't have the energy or the time or the resources, right? You have to take a step back and look at the thing as a whole. And the reason you don't do that, there is actually a few reasons. And one of them is it sounds very daunting. What do you mean I have to take a step? Oh my God, I don't want to do some big eval. I've already done those 360s at work and so forth. I don't want my personality assessed, right? I'm more than happy to sit on your shoulder on the devil's side and say, yeah, because I understand that part. If you're not willing to look at the system as a whole because you're daunted, but you do want to have some sort of change, then you can do some sort of small outside of the box thinking and try to be more focused. A lot of the episodes that I have can help you do that. You can go to the All Episodes page. You can do a little search with Control F or Command F if you're on a Mac, and you can type a word that seems to be related to the thing you're trying to do or change or stop doing. You may even have some fun along the way in those 10 minutes on average that each one of the episodes is. And as we know from other things, whether it's science or medicine or just personality stuff or our life or our evolution or maturity, we don't know what we don't know a lot of the times. And so sometimes you may not actually have a goal in mind. You may not actually know that you're investing a tremendous amount of effort into something that's really negative because you can't let it go, or it's just something you have to deal with. You may not realize that you're connected to a terribly toxic client that's sucking all the life out of you, or a toxic boss, or a terrible job that you're not even sure why you even show up for it. And maybe it's a self-esteem thing. Maybe you could be paid a heck of a lot more at another job, but you don't let yourself do that because you don't know. And that's another huge benefit of mapping something out. And again, I'm not throwing the coaching at you, but I am living the coaching. So if you think about your life and take a step back, it's a really amazing thing because you deserve that. You and your life deserve that. You don't deserve to be going through a tunnel with little blinders on and going, oh, nothing, there's no fire in front of me, I'm going to keep going this direction. You deserve to take a step back. And the magic that can happen managerially over your life that way, some of it is due to the skill level of the person. And then some of it is due to the fact of the viewpoint, the external viewpoint of the person. You can only be so objective about your own life. Someone can be a lot more objective about your life, especially if that's what their attitude is what they're trained on and what they've researched. So you can do a tremendous benefit for yourself. And so what are the takeaways here? You can make resolutions for simple things, like one-off things that bother you or that you want to get done. Things like I'm going to leave work on time. I'm going to get to work on time. I'm not going to be late for appointments for people anymore because they don't deserve that. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to allow myself to leave food on my plate. I'm going to walk after dinner every time I can unless it's negative 30 out. I'm going to make sure I tell my loved ones I love them every day. I'm going to try to make it a point to make myself and the people I care about laugh every day. Things like that are sort of on-off switches that you can throw. But please don't rely on those things to make heavy-duty changes in your life. Because if you want to make heavy-duty, long-term changes, look at it as a system and find something or someone who has a system that you can actually see. And speaking of that, hi, I'm Mark Bradford. I have a system like that. I know, just randomly thought I'd mention that here. But you're welcome to reach out to me for a free 15-minute-ish chat, and we can see if we're a fit. So I would love for you to do that. I would hate for you to be struggling when a phone call solves it all. Free phone call with literally no obligation from a guy who's horrible at sales, who's not going to be pestering you or texting you or anything like that. So let's do that. And if you've worked with me in some way, shape, or form, I actually have a referral program, quite a lucrative referral program for people, because it's more important for me to get long-term clients who are willing to work than it is for me to just make a buck off of like a one-time thing, that person you tricked. So feel free to reach out to me along with that. You can't refer yourself and get all the bonuses, but you can refer other people. So reach out to me in one of the millions of ways you know how to reach me through this. And again, hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful 2025. Thank you.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
Do you have a story to share or a question? If your idea makes it to a podcast, you will receive a shout out as well as a token of my appreciation. Join the community, patreon.com/alchemy for life.
All I need are some better days.